Welcome to the finale for Season 13 of The Lord of the Rings Online. This is the final episode here in Lothlórien. And if you've been watching the series so far, you know that I have a certain formula that I like to stick to for these finale episodes. So let's get started right away. The first thing I like to do is update my class points and my traits and everything, but everything is pretty up to date, so there's really no need to do much of anything in that regards. But I do have a brand new set of armor that I'm going to be using, and I'll talk about that momentarily. Again, towards the beginning of a new season, I do like to upgrade my gear if possible, but we're at that awkward point between level 60 and 75 or so where there really isn't that many opportunities to upgrade your gear. But more importantly, I have this box here. This is an 11-year gift box because it is the 11th anniversary of The Lord of the Rings Online. Can you believe that back in 2007 this thing came out? I have no idea what's in here, but I'm pretty excited to open it, so let's do it together. We have got Pinwheel Fireworks, and then grant the 11sies emote. I also did get a title, by the way, called 11sies for having created my account 11 years ago. So let's do this, and let's see what it looks like. Not sure what I'm doing. Oh. Enjoying some breakfast, it looks like. Alright, pretty cool emote. Pretty cool emote, not gonna lie. Alright, let's take a look at some of these items. So this dropped in the Darnarbogud raid. It was one of the drops that I was able to pick up, and I think it's certainly better than one of these Sublime Dawn Rose earrings of combat that I'm wearing. As you can see, it gives me 2 more might, and it gives me 2 more vitality, but I also get 22 agility on top of it. I get even more morale. The ones I'm wearing currently give me 169. The new ones will give me 197. The critical rating will also go up, but I do lose 480 physical mastery, but I think the trade-off is certainly worth it. So let me equip that, trade out one of my earrings. And then this set here is all for the Darnarbogud raid as well. Each of the bosses drops a gemstone that you can barter with your class guide, I guess, up in Carascaladon. I showed that at the end of the last episode. So here I got the legs, and as you can see, it's going to be an upgrade not only to the armor value, but also it'll give me 43 additional agility. I'll get some might, and I mean, it's just overall better. So I'm going to go ahead and equip that. Next, I got the chest, which is also going to be a lot better. Instead of the just going straight might, I also get an additional 22 agility on this. And as you can see, as soon as I equip this, I'll get another 19 agility bonus for having 2 of the set equipped. So that works out well. And then we got the helmet. Again, pretty good here. The main thing is that I'm going to be getting more agility, which is really what I was kind of lacking on with my original equipment. The gauntlets, that's going to be a nice bonus as well. Again, getting more and more agility. Morale as well, lots of morale. And then, of course, once I equipped that, I did get the bonus for wearing 4 pieces, and that gives me 10% range skill damage. Not going to be too helpful, but maybe when I'm ambushing targets, that'll make a big difference. Here are the boots. Again, beefing up the agility, which is going to be very important. Now, what is very, very sad is that I'm missing only one piece, the shoulders. I was not able to get the shoulders from doing Darnarbogud, so I'm going to keep what I have for now, which is not terrible. Still giving me 39 agility, 39 vitality, some evade rating, some physical mastery, and a 5% chance to remove a disease. Whatever. That's still pretty decent. So we got that, which is important. And next up, what I want to show you is that when I go to a new season, I like to update my title to one pertaining to the season that I'm coming out of. So for now, I'm going into Mirkwood as Skip and Proudfeet, Guardian of Lothlórien. So the important thing now is to talk about some of the deeds here in Lothlórien. So there's actually not that many. there's City of the Lord and Lady to explore some of the places in Caradhras. There is some of the deeds to complete quests. There's the Flet Runner challenge. And then there's the Reputation. There's a deed related to that. Defense of Lórien, if you remember the instance in which you do the Battle for Lórien quest. If you do that, you get Defense of Lórien. There's also several other deeds. In total, if you complete the quest 10 times, since it is a repeatable one, that's how you unlock all the tier deeds. So those are ones that I'm going to have to come back to, unfortunately. Warrior of Lothlórien. That's again for completing some quests. And just to go back to the Defense of Lórien real quick, the reason why I'm putting it off is because it'll take me a long time to find a group to do that quest over 10 times. And I don't really want to hold things up. I want to move on to Mirkwood. So I'll just come back to this for now. As far as Slayer, there's only two. There's the Beast Slayer and the Orc-slayer. And then there's a few here that I have not yet completed, but we'll do so together in just a moment. That is the Lórien Lookout for finding all of the flets around Lothlórien. And the Wanderer of the Golden Wood. Still need to find the Garden of Memory here, but we'll do all that. And like I said, the Defense of Lórien 2, I think it goes up to 5 for completing the quest 10 times. So let's go ahead and go see all of these deeds together right now. The first exploration deed is called City of the Lord and Lady. Caradhras is the mighty city of the Lord and Lady of the Galadrim, nestled amid the tall Malorn trees. First landmark is the House of Celeborn. The House of Celeborn is the home of the Lord and Lady of Lothlórien. The next landmark is Galadriel's Garden. This pleasant garden is where Galadriel keeps her most unusual and mysterious possession, the Mirror of Galadriel. The next landmark is Lórien. This beautiful and ornate fountain is a testament to the artistry of the elves. The next landmark is the Company's Pavilion. This pavilion is where the Company of the Ring resides during its stay in Lothlórien. The next landmark is Telain Galadrim. This series of flets is the center of learning in Caradhras. Next is Telain Bangad. Telain Bangad and their sister flets, Telain Melthen, are at the center of trade in Lothlórien. Next is Telain Melthen. Telain Melthen and their sister flets, Telain Bangad, are the center of trade in Lothlórien. Next is Telain Gloraloth. This series of flets is a popular gathering place among the Galadrim. Finally, there is Telain Nidwil. Telain Nidwil has a far view of the eastern landscapes of Lothlórien. The next exploration deed is Lórien Lookout. Many flets where the guards of the Galadrim keep watch dot the Golden Wood, ensuring that no enemy can approach unnoticed. The first landmark is Cairn Amroth. This is the place where Amroth once had his home, and later where Aragorn and Arwen first met and fell in love.
Next is Talon Fanudhol. Talon Fanudhol is where the Galadrim staged their defense against the Orcs of Moria mustering within Fanudhol. Next is Talon Gwylith. This is one of the many flets guarding the borders of Lothlórien. Next is Talon Dolinhin. This is one of the many flets guarding the borders of Lothlórien. Next is Talon Otharkin. This is one of the many flets guarding the borders of Lothlórien. Next is Talon Tirith. This is one of the many flets guarding the borders of Lothlórien. Next is Talon Orthelion. This is one of the many flets guarding the borders of Lothlórien. Next is Talon Malelas. This is one of the many flets guarding the borders of Lothlórien. Next is Talon Brethil. This flet overlooks a grove of Melbrethil. Next is Talon Reveil. This flet overlooks the nests of many hawks. Finally, there is Talon Haldir. Haldir, March Warden of Lothlórien, and his brothers Rumil and Orifin make their camp here. The final exploration deed is called Wanderer of the Golden Wood. The ways of Lothlórien are beautiful and restful. It is easy to lose oneself in its peaceful wood. The first landmark is Ikad Undistel. Traders from Dale traveling south became trapped at the foot of the Misty Mountains as the Orcs of Moria poured forth, forcing the Elves of Lothlórien to grant them aid. Next is the Lady's Rest. This spot is a favorite resting place of Galadriel, Lady of the Golden Wood. Next is Cairn Nauth. Cairn Nauth is a peaceful hill overlooking the Golden Wood. Next is the Vineyards of Lórien. The Vineyards of Lórien produce sweet grapes and fine wine for the festivals of the elves. Next is Imlad Lelaith. Imlad Lelaith, the Valley of Laughter, is where most of Lothlórien's feasts take place. Next is the Garden of Memory. This garden recalls the past, when Lothlórien was Lórien. Next is Bain Gwawloth. Bain Gwawloth is a private garden, beautiful and secluded. Next is Sod Gilthiriad. This beautiful glade is a perfect spot to view the stars of Elbereth. Next is Cairn Brethil. This grove of Milbrethiel is revered by the Galadrim. Finally, there is the Quiet Garden. The Quiet Garden is a peaceful place to contemplate the troubles of the world. Next, there are the Slayer deeds, beginning with the Beast Slayer. There are multiple beasts that you can kill in Lothlórien, but I find it easiest to kill some shrews at this location because they're low HP and they are all over the place. By the way, the Flet Runner deed I'm not going to be showing because I've already done that in the episodes throughout the season, and it's basically just completing a series of quests to run from one flet to another. There's only 2 Slayer deeds here in Lothlórien, and this is the second and final one. This is the Orc-slayer deed, and you will find plenty of them in Fanuhol. But then there's also this repeatable quest that you can do right outside, in which you have to kill 30 orcs, and they all come very quickly. They come right to you, and you got some elves to help you. So this is great for doing the Orc-slayer deed, and I highly recommend it. Alright, so that is that. Next up, I do want to talk about the Reputation faction here in Lothlórien, which is, of course, the Galadrim. Let me see if I can pull them up. Where are they? There they are. So, the Galadrim. The elves of Lothlórien struggle against the orcs of Moria and Dol Guldur. And as always, there's several things that you can do to gain reputation with them. Doing quests in Lothlórien will do it. And doing some of the Moria instances, like the Halls of Crafting, and the Water Wheels, and Darnarbogud, and the Mirror Halls, all of those will give you reputation as well. The Battle of Lórien instance here will give you reputation. There's a ton of the repeatable quests here, which you can grind for reputation. Doing the deeds will give you reputation. One thing that you do need to be aware of, there are certain protected animals in the woods of Lothlórien. Usually when you click on the animal, it will say protected under them. If you hurt them, or if you kill them, you will lose reputation. Let me see if this guy's protected. Doesn't look like it. I was trying to find an example, but anyways, you get the point. Once you're kindred with the elves of Lothlórien, lots of things open up to you, so let me show you some of the things that you can unlock with kindred reputation. So in terms of reputation with the Galadrim, there are barterers all over Lothlórien, and I'm going to begin over here since this is where I was just recording. So there's a couple of barterers here.
What news from abroad?
As you can see, Basriel, he'll give you certain recipes, and mainly for some housing items, and then there's also some items that you can use as far as consumables. And then there are some cooking recipes as well, and then some scroll cases, and all that other stuff. And then over here next to him,
Hail! What brings you to Lórien?
she offers you several recipes for items that are actually not too bad. So there's lots of shields here that you can barter for, which have, I believe they might have a critical variant of it, so it may be worth looking some of these up to see if it's worth it for you. But as you can see, it's mainly some recipes for crafted items. Certainly would recommend taking a look at those if you're looking for an armor set.
So those are the two that are over here. These barterers here are just specific to your class and not really related to reputation. Here in Talon Fanudhol, there are some other barterers, as you can see. Let me show you where that is on the map. It's right here. By the way, previously, the one I was just at is over here near the docks. I forgot to show that on the map. Anyways, you got this guy here.
Servants of the enemy cannot pass the bounds of Lórien.
He does offer you a few different shields, as you can see, and they're not terrible. They're pretty decent. And then you can also trade your silver branches to golden leaves, respectively. That way, if you need one but not the other, you can kind of go between the two. This lady here
Welcome
will
to
offer you
Lothlórien.
a few cosmetic items. For example, this quiver, if you're into that kind of stuff. You got some musical instruments, and then a few other consumables as well. Nothing too exciting. Alright, and then let me head to the next location. Here in Karen Emroth, there are a few other reputation barterers that you can take a look at. And on the map, that's going to be right up here. Okay, so there's this lady.
What news from abroad?
And there's a few cosmetic items, like this fancy robe that just looks absolutely ridiculous. Let's take a look at the trousers. A little bit better, but still ridiculous. Anyways, there are a few housing items, as you can see as well. So those are pretty interesting. And pretty much all these barterers let you go between silver branches and golden leaves. And another thing of note is that I don't know off the top of my head, but most of these barterers do not require you to be kindred. There's actually only one that requires you to have kindred status, and I'll make sure to mention that once we get to him or her. I can't remember if it's a she elf or not.
What business
this guy
have you with
here,
the lord and lady?
And there are some music boxes which you can play in your house, but I don't know what these sounds like, honestly. Probably some of the soundtrack we've been listening to this season. Also a few other consumables. So those are the two up here. Let me move on to the next location. Alright, and finally here in Karaskaldon, that's where a majority of the cool reputation things are going to be. First of all, there's this barterer here.
Servants of the enemy cannot pass the bounds of Lórien.
She's not really related to reputation. She gives you some items that you can barter for that are useful for the Battle of Lórien repeatable instance. So you can use these things to give you certain advantages in it. So there you go. That one can boost some morale, that one can increase armor, so on and so forth. Nothing too interesting. There's this guy back here, Keeper of Gifts.
Sweet-eyed Malon, how may I be of service?
And this looks like it's actually related to the anniversary that's going on, so I don't know if this is actually specific to Lothlórien. You'll have to forgive me. But anyways, there's this guy back there. Yeah, it looks like these are all anniversary type deals and not really related to Lothlórien itself. However, everything else is going to be up here in Teline Galadrim. So let me climb up to the flit. As you can see, all the reputation things right above me. And this is where all the cool things are going to be, honestly. Alright, so let's see what we have right away.
Megovanen,
So,
may I help you?
This guy lets you kind of convert things back and forth. Medallion of Lothlórien. Instead of my glistening elfstone of resolve. I think I got this in Darnarbagud, maybe? And then you can trade for some legendary things as well from him, which is nice. Now, if you're a warden, I believe...
Do not underestimate
Yeah,
my
there you go.
wrath.
I can get this muster in Karaskaladon, which is nice. And this is where I traded for the Darnarbagud set, like I showed in the last episode. And if you weren't lucky on your rolls and you couldn't get some of these jewels, there's also the lesser sets that you can get from just medallions of Lothlórien, which everybody gets anyways. Let me barter for that. And then I've got my new skill here. Let me take it out of my bar for now. Okay. So we've talked with this guy. And then let me head up here. God, I'm having a hard time clicking that ladder.
As you can see, there's going to be several barterers
What
here.
brings you to Lothlórien?
More music and housing items. And then there's also recipes for instruments, as you can see. More housing items. And then some weapon items as well. So make sure you look through those, see if they would benefit you in your quest. This guy here.
Welcome to Lothlórien.
And I believe, so this guy you have to be kindred for in order to take a look at some of these. So if you look, there's some very good jewelry, and I believe I got one of these. Let me see which one it was. I think it was, I don't know, it was one of these that I'm using. There you go, the bracelet. I did get the bracelet here. So these are some pretty good jewelry items. I definitely recommend you look through them. They're probably going to help you out if you're around this level. But I think what I'm mostly interested in is the prize Galadrim steed. I always like to collect the steeds, so let me go ahead and barter for that. There you go. Now let's take a look to see what it looks like. Prize Galadrim steed. I'll probably be using it in Mirkwood, so I'll put it on my quick slots. Let's see. It's not bad. It's kind of basic looking, but it's nice. I enjoy the white.
The orcs of Moria stir, and shadows creep up from the depths.
So this guy gives you a few cloak recipes, and I believe these cloaks are pretty good and pretty worth it, especially if you get the critical equivalent of it. So definitely worth taking a look at them, see if they'll help you out. A few other things here as well. There's some robes and leggings and some other armors that you can look through to see if they'll help you. Again, don't forget that for all of these, there's a critical equivalent, so I recommend going to LOTRO Wiki and taking a look at these items to see if it's worth it for you or not. This elf
Be
here,
wary, traveler. Orcs have come down from the mountains.
and I believe you need to have allies standing to speak with her. She offers a few jewelry items as well, and then other items too. So there's that. And then finally, the last one is her.
What brings you to Lothlórien?
And she gives you gift boxes, and I believe all they do is really give you some legendary items, like relics and those sorts of things. So that's really it for the reputation here in Lothlórien. And let's get back to the action. So that is it, my friends. That is the end of Lothlórien. Behind me is this boat, which I can take to Mirkwood. That is going to be the site of Season 14. It's going to be a really big season. It's a large app. It's a large map, and there is going to be a lot to do. Lots of quests, lots of deeds. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think there's other ways to get to Mirkwood. I think you can actually swim across the Anduin, but I prefer to just take the boat. Let's do that. So thanks again for watching, and see you on the next season.